There are universities that are teaching hip hop all over the country. One of the things that makes your course authentic is when you leap off of the book and into real life. This is what a hip hop course is really all about. And I'm gonna explain this to you very quickly. Those that are taking notes, if I say something and you want me to repeat it, just shout that out. Say repeat it, I'll say it again. I'm gonna give you 34 years of history in about 20 minutes. 1970, the Vietnam War is going on. The civil rights movement is at its peak. A gentleman by the name of J. Edgar Hoover is head of the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, sometime in the 60s, 65 down. Also, as a side note, 1967, George Bush was head of the CIA. Side note. In these late 60s, the FBI issued something called a counterintelligence program. The counterintelligence program was supposed to be the FBI's way of checking up on and breaking apart social organizations, women's groups, civil rights movement, what they believed the communists were, workers' rights movements, unions, this kind of thing. J. Edgar Hoover was out to destroy that. When he got to the black community, documented evidence, FBI records show and state that he was looking for, I'll quote, a black messiah. They looked at Malcolm X, they looked at Martin Luther King, Kwame Ture, or then Stokely Carmichael. They're looking at all of these people rising up and they just start making plans to get rid of them. Not so much because these people were a threat to the United States, but because what they stood for inspired you. This is the real argument. The fake argument is Martin Luther King was killed because he was black. You know, they shot Malcolm because he was black. No. These things were calculated attempts, and even now, and I would say this now it's out that the government, as you do more and more history and more research comes up, you come to find out that the United States government is blamed for a lot of stuff they themselves did not do. That when you reach a level of power in this country, you could do stuff and blame it on the United States, blame it on the Justice Department, blame it on the Board of Education, when in fact, there are groups of people with interests contrary to yours. It's just that simple. Some are black, some are white, some are mixed, some are, and when I say mixed, I mean some groups acquire an Asian African connection. It ain't got nothing to do with whether I'm African or whether you Asian. I'm trading rice with you. I'm trading peanuts, corn, and other agricultural goods with you. I'm depending on you, you're depending on me, but we are manipulating the society for our good. This is a new paradigm in the civil rights struggle. Hip hop starts off in the Vietnam War, counterintelligence program, and trying to get rid of our mothers and fathers. We're born in that. This is where we start, right here. We're born in that. Our whole generation was labeled X. A whole generation is X because we were doomed. 1970, heroin is on the streets everywhere. There's a scene in the Mario Van Peebles movie Black Panther where they actually show this documented fact that happened, actually acted out. There was a scene where the mafia and the FBI gets together to discuss how they're going to put heroin in the black community. But anyway, this was real. The government, working on behalf of other organizations, or working with other organizations, not on behalf, working with other organizations, launched a program to stop a certain intelligence happening, a certain happening already going on in the American societies. The problem was their own shortcomings of racism and sexism. Sexism hit them first. The plan was to get rid of all the men, assuming that women had no power and that without a man they would crumble. Hip hop has defied that law. We don't even discuss it no more. It's an old argument. If you're a single parent, now it don't mean nothing. Now, it's actually better to be a single parent. There are more resources in society for the single parent today than there are for the family. Back in the 50s and 60s, to be a single parent was a scourge. You was looked down upon. Well, you had sex out of marriage or wedlock. Where's your man? Where's your wife? Or where's your companion? People looked at you and judged you based on this. After the Vietnam War, the heroin epidemic, counterintelligence program, most of the men are wiped out of the society. We, early hip hop, are born. I was born 65. I was part of that clique that grew up when we was in 1972. I'm in the Bronx at this place called 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. This is the birthplace of hip hop. 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. A guy named Cool DJ Herc used to play in 1500 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. There was a park next to that building. And actually, we really lived in 1600, but everybody from 1600 and 1520 played, stayed over everybody's house, this, that, and the other. There was a great relationship between these two projects. And there was a park in the middle of that called Cedar Park. 1972, heroin is all up in this park. Fiends are nodding. The hot record was James Brown, Get On the Good Foot. I'm 7 years old. Me and Siobhan Dean, who's now Rough Riders and all of them, we all used to live in the same building in 72. Had no idea where anybody was or what we would become. It was just that Cool Herc used to come outside and play music. Now, here's where it all begins. Heroin is everywhere. So 1972, heroin is everywhere. The Vietnam War is taking young men out of the community every day. How many people in here 18? Anybody? You're eligible for the draft. Imagine getting a letter. I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said, this line that Chuck D laid down spoke right to 1972, when letters were coming to our older brothers and sisters saying, yo, Vietnam War, you have a 1-year tour of Vietnam. And you either had to run then to Canada, go to jail, like Muhammad Ali, or go and fight that war. This was our reality. I'm 7 years old. I'm aware of all of this. Just to speed you up to 2004, how many 7-year-olds are aware of the Iraq War, American war that's going on today? In 2004, how many 7-year-olds are aware of that? Okay, stop there, go back. 1972, I'm 7 years old. I'm aware of Vietnam, the civil rights struggle. I know who's the drug dealers, the cops, the crooked cops, the good cops. I know the gang members, I know whoever. I'm 7 years old. The mind of the hip hopper in the early days. Cool Herc is is outside playing music. No flyers. You'd stick your head out the window and you'd hear, yo, is that 123 Park? Yo, is that 92 Park? Yo, is that Cedar Park? Yo, let's go outside. You have to walk around, walk up one block. Nah, it ain't here. Walk up another block. Nah, man, it's coming from up there. You walk up there. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, boom. Yo, that's 23 Park. They jamming in 23 Park. And you start walking to 123 Park, which, by the way, 123 Park was PS 123. So where Africa Bambaataa in 1974 would start playing and introduce Zulu Nation. I'm not up to that yet. The way we thought and acted was we don't want nothing to do with the mainstream. The reason we was called hip hop is because we didn't want to have nothing to do with the mainstream. Our parents, we already saw our parents come, I want to be down with your educational system. Get out of here, nigga. I want to be down with your American Medical Association. Get your punk ass. This is how our parents were getting treated. You know, I want to be down with the justice system. I want to be down. I want inclusion. It's the whole Martin Luther King argument. I want to be down with what you go. I want to be down. This is the civil rights argument on one side. I want to be down with you, America. Open the door and let me in. Malcolm X said, rethink the whole thing. Hip hop took that advice. In American history, you are hearing Dr. Martin Luther King's advice, which is an excellent advice. In this way, it's what makes Martin Luther King so dope, is that he taught that in the face of hypocrisy, lawless lawmakers, when the people who make the laws are breaking them in front of you, your highest weapon is to stand in the law, and by showing them the mirror image of their own hypocrisy, you bring about justice. To do that, you have to let the dog bite you. You got to stand there when they're shooting the water, because your purpose for standing there is that this is a hypocrisy to your entire way of life. If I don't stand here, the hypocrisy will not be heard. It will not be seen. If I don't march, nobody will know that there is hypocrisy as you're throwing stuff, spitting on us, and doing all, shooting guns and stuff. Yeah, we have to show the hypocrisy. So Martin Luther King taught us that. Stand up in the face of hypocrisy with justice. Be justice. Don't look for it, be it. That's what Martin Luther King taught us in passive nonviolent resistance. Don't break the law. Uphold it beyond the criminals that are coming after you. Martin Luther King was dope. Can't front on him. We just didn't take his advice. Malcolm X said, tear this whole thing down. Nothing here works. The only solution is separation. That's it. If Malcolm X was here today, I guarantee he would have a problem with this whole reparations argument that we are having as an African community. If you really read Malcolm X and his thoughts on self-determination, self-evidence, that kind of stuff, what black people should be doing within and for themselves, we contradicting that. What we still doing is, I want to be down. I want what you got. Everything the white man get, we want. Every validation the white man aspires to, we want. And that's some controversial talk, I'm telling you for real. But hip hop didn't go there. 1972, we said, you keep your mainstream. Keep it, we don't want it. We tried to get in your dance schools. You dissed us and dissed our parents. Now we create and break it. Every step of the way we were thinking. Stop the violence movement, human education against lies, all in the same gang. Thinking. This is not no haphazard thing. We knew from from the beginning exactly what we were doing and how we were going to do it. And what was the point? Peace, love, unity, and having fun. Africa Bambaataa, 1974. 1974, a gang member named Lance goes to Africa, meets the Zulu chief, sits down with the Zulu chief. Somehow he impresses the Zulu chief so much that the Zulu chief makes Lance what is called a Zulu king. Lance comes back as an honorary Zulu king to the Bronx in 74 and calls his new organization Zulu Nation, and Lance changed his name to Africa Bambaataa. It became Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation in 1974, and with that declaration came peace, love, unity, and having fun. But in 1979, the Sugar Hill Gang came out. Stop here for a minute. From 1970 to 1979, heroin is crazy in the community. From 1970 to 1979, black men are being arrested for no reason. You don't experience that today. Like today we have racial profiling. I laugh when people are like, yo man, the cops is racially profiling me. You ain't got no racial profiling in this today in 2000. No, we were racially profiled. Take it back, do the research. The way society was crazy. Crazy. People were getting lynched. In 1970, the Ku Klux Klan was still marching. In 1976, 77, our parents were either warriors or cowards. Warriors, and there were many of them. And there was cowards, and there was many of them. But this is hip hop. And let me take you to this level. Here's the history right here. Kool Herc saves us from heroin, the Vietnam War, our dads are gone. The United States government slips, thinking that if you kill the man, the woman got no power. Women raised us. Most hip hoppers from my generation are raised by single moms. That gave us a whole different psychology. First of all, we had that feminine creative energy as men. Hip hop, raised by a single female, took on feminine psychological traits. Something that this country has downplayed since its inception. Everything is masculine and everything is analytical in its masculinity. Creativity is a feminine attribute of the mind. Creativity. See, the plan backfired. They took away the analytical identity of us. The black male's intellectual identity was taken away in the 70s through the image of the father. The mother was all that was left, and she gave us intelligence and creativity. We used the creativity to say, you know what, you dissed my moms, I don't even want to be part of you. I see capoeira martial arts and I see James Brown. I'm going to combine that and I'm going to become what is called a B-boy, a B-girl. I'm going to combine capoeira martial arts with James Brown and create breakdancing. I'm going to take the hieroglyphics, the concept of Egyptian hieroglyphics, and the concept of cave art that appeared some 20,000 years ago in northern and southern Africa. I'm gonna take that concept and I'm gonna put it all over the streets that I live on. It's called graffiti art. I'm gonna express my intelligence, whether you tell me I can or not. I'm gonna dress the way I wanna dress, whether you tell me I can or not. I'm gonna be me, whether you tell me I can or not. Our parents, most of them, were waiting to be told They can do this, they can do that. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. You know what that argument is? She's the first black woman to win or something. That's stupid talk. Oh, you so articulate. That. Waiting for someone to validate you, for you to say, now I exist. Most college students, you guys go through this all the time with validation, as opposed to validating yourselves. In this instance, take it, this is a hip hop parable here, and I'll get back to the history lesson. This year when you go to your graduation, or whenever you get to your graduation, whenever you get to your graduation and you pick up your receipt, I mean your degree, then you will see what I'm talking about. You see, there's something to be said about being free and being freed. Our parents were freed. We are free. Our parents were free. They fought for all of our freedom. They were freed. You know, I mention this because the difference between being free and being freed is when you are free, self-creative, self-evident, you self-actualize. Free is, I can't move until I get this authorization. I'm not a business major until I get a business major's degree. I'm not a computer engineer until I get the computer engineer degree. I'm not a doctor really until I get the doctor's degree. Wrong! Hip-hop looked at it the completely different way. We said, I am. Said, I am. I have no credentials, no validation, none. But here's the difference between me and you. When someone says, what is your name? You say, my name is Bob Barker. How you doing? When you ask a hip-hopper, what is your name? Yo, I'm DJ Bob Ski from 125th. You want to get down? What? The difference in psychology is this. Yo, man, I'm just Bob Barker. That person is like that because they are connected to their, in other words, their well-being is connected to something outside of themselves. You get this low self-esteem when your well-being is connected to something outside of yourself. This is the beginning of poverty, right here. I want, meaning that I don't have. And what I want is more valuable than what I already have. The mainstream told us, they said, the mainstream said, everything that you have has no value. Your clothes, your furniture, everything has no value. The only way you have value is if you come through us, mainstream institutions, and on top of that, we're not letting you in. So look at what we up against. We're not letting you in, but this is the only place you can be validated. This is the only place we believe you should be, is in college, in the army, but we ain't letting you in. So we're sitting outside, ready to die. But we didn't. We said, because you're not letting us in, cool, keep everything you got. We're gonna create our own thing over here, and you're not getting in this. This here we're creating. This was the attitude in '72. The attitude was, the record was, we got our own thing. Flash used to cut that up. We got our own thing. We got it. He used to cut that up. Cats, it wasn't about the record. It was about that feeling of, yeah, We got our own thing, dressed different, man. Put on the Lee suit with the bell bottoms, plugs, gazelle glasses, Kango hat, got the graffiti piece on the back with a big boom box to find all law in my presence. I'm blasting this box, ordering laws, going crumble, doing all sorts of peace, and whatever the order is that is oppressing me is now out of order. I have sound and light. Our boom boxes and our graffiti art taught the whole United States mainstream. We wasn't in college, we wasn't in none of that. We tagged on the college wall. And people said, yo, what's that? Oh, it's a gang. Oh, it's art. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's this. What was the point? Here's the essence right here. When it was time to say our name, we told a story about ourselves that was better than what we were at that time. We spoke higher than what we were at the time. 1979, Rapper's Delight, a group named the Sugar Hill Gang comes out. One of the most famous lines that all the kids in the ghetto would sing along with. Here's the line. So after school, I take a dip in the pool, which is really off the wall. I got a color TV so I could see the Knicks play basketball. There was another part that said, I got a Lincoln Continental and a sunroof Cadillac. And then, so after school, I take a dip. They didn't have none of this. The people listening to them didn't have none of this. But this was the essence of hip hop. When I say I have nothing, legally, I have nothing. But I got a rag. I got a handkerchief, a rag, dirty rag. This rag costs 10 cents to make a rag. I could go to Prada, because that's the validation, and buy a rag from Prada. And because I spend $400 on a rag on my head, I have been validated by Prada. What we did was we said, give me this rag that you just wiped the furniture off with and the dishes and the car. Let me put that on my head. On the head of a man or woman that believes in themselves, a worthless rag becomes a $10 million fashion item. The rags that we wear on our heads, the handkerchiefs that we got on our heads, that's a $10 million business. When that started, those handkerchiefs were given away for free. You can't get those handkerchiefs for free today. We used to get them for free. They were so common and just useless. It's like hip hop saying, we're gonna put rolls of toilet tissue on our wrists, and that's gonna be the new thing. And because we walk around like, yeah, son, I got, the roll of toilet tissue on the wrist. Yo, I got the clean one. What you got, man? The toilet tissue on the wrist. It was just that crazy that we put Kangos on, all this stuff, start walking around like this. What's your name? Super Bob Ski? What? Yo, let me take my gazelles off. Yo, listen, man. I got a Lincoln Continental, man. I was like, I don't have none of this. But this is what I thought of myself. When somebody said, who are you? I didn't say I'm broken, poor, uneducated, and going nowhere. Even though I was broke, uneducated, and going nowhere. But hip hop came upon all of us in the ghetto, 1972 in the Bronx. It just came on us. And all of a sudden, we started to reject the mainstream. And that was the essence of it. That's why cats that want to run to the mainstream today are playing themselves, and that's why we say they're not real hip-hop. And concept of hip-hop was create the parallel community. Create an entirely different community. We ain't hung up with racism, sexism, whether you're gay or straight, rich or poor, Jew, Christian, Muslim. Hip-hop ain't got them problems. And this is what Africa Bambaataa was dealing with. He put a record out in '82 called Planet Rock.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes. Yes, indeed. He put out a record called Planet Rock that included all races of people, but we didn't have a voice. Today they try to tell you that hip-hop is an African-American thing. It's not, in its essence. Africans, of course, we are the antenna to the universe, can't front on that. However, when you discuss hip-hop for real as a cultural movement, I invite you guys to watch movies like Wild Style, like Style Wars, the graffiti art documentary Style Wars. Style Wars, by the way, is a graffiti art documentary that shows, it's our only documentation of white youth participating in hip-hop in a serious way. But I will say this, that there is a balance to how we present ourselves from day one. We was always beyond race. Because like I pointed out at the beginning, here's the new problem. Most of our parents were against us. Imagine being black in the 70s, and before you even get out the door, your father or your mother or just your mother is on your back. The more things you know, the better off you are able to negotiate life. That's what knowledge does for you. It makes you aware of your environment, yourself, makes you a better you. Knowledge. But unknowing is an argument that says what you don't know is also teaching you. I discovered this in hip-hop with my own life. It's because we did not know how to play musical instruments that we created cutting, mixing, scratching, and the $1 billion tool, the mixer. Had we had knowledge, we would have passed that. There'd be no need for it. It's because we did not know how to play instruments. We couldn't afford them. We didn't have access to them. We created, or was forced to self-create. Not look for a handout. Not look for some sort of reparation. Self-create. I don't know how to play live instruments, but I know I'm a musician, so I'm still beating on this table. Others said, I don't have no live instruments. Man, my music career is over. Mom, I want a music career. You won't buy me no instruments. Freed or free? I can't move unless, I can't be me unless you be you. That's free. Free is, man, that guy can play a guitar tight. Man, did you see what Jimi Hendrix did with the guitar? Yeah, man, that was tight. You got a guitar? Nope. You got a guitar? Nope. I ain't got one either. But how we gonna make that sound in our world? Well, you know, my mom's got a turntable. And you know, every time I move that needle, it kind of makes the same sound that Jimi Hendrix was making and that James Brown be doing. And this is how we're thinking, just like this. Bob Dylan, was on the radio every day. And we're like, listen, wow, look, all right, yo, check this out. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna, oh, that was dope. We know that the turntable is not a guitar, but in our minds, I don't know if you've ever done this as children, that you don't have the real thing. So you take any object and turn it into what you don't have. This is the essence of how it's done. This is called unknowing. It is resting in the fact that even what I don't know is teaching me as much as what I do know. That I am building the totality of myself, not just in what I know, but what I choose not to know. I don't need to watch CNN when I wake up in the morning to hear that a missile is pointed at my head. I don't know that I need to know that. I don't know that I need to wake up in the morning, turn on the radio, and hear ignorance. I don't know that I need to hear that. I am building me. Sure, I know things, but I'm going to stop myself from knowing some other things because the totality of knowing is making up my reality. Unknowing, it gets deeper. Unknowing goes into the spiritual realm. Unknowing goes past the intellect. Knowing is the intellect. Unknowing can become part in its higher sense or deeper sense. Unknowing is of the spirit. Meaning, intellect says, we want a car. Intellect says the goal is the car. And intellect goes A, B, C, D, E, car. You know, go down to the dealer, get the registration, da-da-da-da, car. The spirit says car. The intellect says, I gotta go down here, I gotta do this, I gotta get to this, and then I gotta do that. And when I do that, then I'll be able to do this, and that will get me the car. That's intelligent. That's logic, rational thinking. The spirit says car. And the way the car comes later, all that. Or how are we gonna get the car, the world will work that out. Car. How do you do that? How do you really live life like this? Where you could just say car appears. I'll tell you right now the secret, right here. This is miracle making. This is the last part, right here. I'm gonna cut it off. This is where hip hop really gets live. This is how we divide the entire mainstream. They don't say this, but the war was us against the mainstream of the 70s. They lost. We already defeated the mainstream society, corporate America, all that's under our foot. Today, as I tell you, there's no fear. Go into corporate America, we've already opened the doors. Don't be afraid. Don't think it's just white board men. They say, oh man, that's a little much for me. Walk into Coca-Cola, I am hip hop. You need me. Bob Skin, Super D, yo, what's up? It's my man over here. You can say all that on your resume. You don't just get your college degree, you rock that shit. You don't get a college degree like these other clowns. They just gonna walk up and get their receipt. No, when you get your degree, make a t-shirt out of it. Well, for real, yo, I just finished college, what? I'm gonna write a book on my time in college. I'm gonna rock this. My life ain't just gonna happen. I'm gonna take every aspect of my experience and rock it. This is the essence right here. This is it. If you can hear it, let me go back to unknown, spiritual unknown. Those that pray, when you pray, God does not speak English. Can we just establish that? Okay? God does not speak English or French, German, Spanish, none of that. God hears the groan of your heart. If you can speak from your heart, thank you, brother, and I'm ending that too. If you can speak from the groan in your heart, and this is real right here, the groan in your heart, the joy in your heart, the essence of your being, you express that to God. There's no words in that. This is a submitting. This is a letting go. This is not about knowing. This is about unknowing. I don't know what Temple University will think if I call up their instructor and say, yo, I'm driving through. You think we could put together something real quick, and I heard you was doing a class. I'm coming through, you think we can put something together? The intellect says, no, you only got 2 days promotion. Are you crazy? Temple University got all kinds of stuff going on. What do you mean? Faith said, I'll be at Temple University. I have no idea who's going to be there. I have no idea what's going to happen when they come here. I'm looking at all of you now, I'm taking all this in. 2 days ago, I was not going to be here. But my spirit got hit when I was in Atlanta. And I said, why do I need to go to Temple? I'm on my way to Washington. I was coming from Atlanta, I was supposed to go to Washington. We're doing a conference at NASA and all this stuff. So we wanted to NASA to walk through everything, the security check and the Patriot Act. And I said, yo, we ran into my man right here. I gotta give him that. You are hip-hop. And we said, yo, we heard about your course. You wanna come through? Here you are. Here I am. Hip-hop cannot be taught by words. It's the feeling we get when you hear that a conversation like this is going down. The feeling you get, yo, I've got to be there. Yeah. It's that feeling you get, that's hip-hop. That feeling, other people hear a beat go by the car, boom, boom, bap. Other people are like, oh man, you're like, what, who is that? This is the feeling you get, unknowing. The things you pray for, you get them according to the consciousness of your own mind. Our God is a loving God. This idea of fear for God, I mean, there's theological principles behind that. I wouldn't just discard that statement. But in all actuality, God is so right up on you. I would invite you to stop thinking of God as a person, as a being that you must speak to, and begin to understand that what you are calling air, this is not air. This is the greatest conspiracy of all time. I'm going to give it to you right now. Maybe you guys will write a book on it. Your time at Temple. The greatest conspiracy of all time is when people were told that what they are inhaling and exhaling is oxygen. That's a lie. This is God. Over this. This is, let me tell you this scientifically, even if you need to bring it there, because God is a scientist. Consciousness, our ability to be aware, we tend to think it comes from us. But the argument is that if we are separated from this for 4 minutes, what's the first thing we lose? Consciousness. 4 minutes, all it takes to be separated from this substance. And the first thing is your heart don't stop. Your lungs live, all that, keep going. Consciousness, you lose. The brain does not even die yet. The first thing that goes is consciousness. You are conscious because you are breathing. Therefore, consciousness does not come from you. It is a gift from God The more you breathe, the more you receive the gift of awareness, of consciousness. The minute you say, I'm not going to breathe no more, the contract is broke, and you go to sleep. So, what is really conscious? Is it us, who clearly are not conscious unto ourselves? We are receiving consciousness constantly. That is consciousness. What is conscious? Us, or the air itself? Or even go deeper, the trees that are said to produce oxygen. What is really conscious? If air is supposed to come from the trees grow whether we are conscious or not. They produce oxygen for us. We are so interdependent on this oxygen that if you don't get this product of the trees in 4 minutes, you're over. But we cutting the trees down. Boop, boop, boop. One tree, one forest after another going down. And what are we cutting really? We're cutting off consciousness. This is the battle, ladies and gentlemen. Hip hop has realized it long ago. The battle is for your mind. People say it, but they don't really know what they're talking about. Awareness is the fight. What do you believe? They're cutting trees down to lessen your ability to think. Since 1950, the oxygen you breathe, the air you breathe, has, I think it's 30% less oxygen today. You're breathing 30% less oxygen in the air that we are breathing than the people in 1950. Right now. The oxygen in this substance is leaving every day. Another 20%, 40%. The air we're breathing today is not the air that Jesus breathed. Jesus was able to do all that stuff because the air itself was pure. The consciousness that Christ received was pure. This is why when you're in the city, Generation X, the consciousness you are receiving is small. Small. Try to travel. Less than 10% of all of the United States citizens have passports. Travel. Get off your block. This is the first thing hip hop did. This is what the Elements did for us. This is how we got educated. The turntables took us all over the world. Imagine, ignorant KRS. High school dropout, just got my GED. I'm in a shelter. Homeless, I'm in a shelter, 1985. Homeless, living in a shelter. The things you pray for, the things you don't get, are saving your life. If you have already made a commitment to your God, rest on that, because it's real. God is not fictitious, let me tell you. God is right here. Right here. In you, out, you keep bringing God in and out of your life. And when you know that science, when you can understand that God is in the breath, this, you watch what you say. We are manipulating God. That's what an MC is. We are the craftsmen of God. We get a chunk of God. Boom. And we go, it's a bitch. It's a hoe. Yo, this shit is a pimp. It's all God. All God. The MCs interpret God. And here's the contract. However you interpret God, that will be the God of your life.
Come on, teach, brother.
Hey, yo, there's a bitch. Your sister becomes that. Your mom becomes that. Your daughter becomes that. Karma is no joke. Excuse me, karma is no joke. It's an Indian philosophy. But it proves true for all traditions. Watch what you say. Don't say I'm ready to die if you're not ready to die. As MCs, the strongest thing you can do is link up with God. I bring God to all battles, and we have a lot. This is also why we're undefeated. Those that know my history will know we're undefeated. We always will be in any lyrical competitions. The point is, I'm not really rhyming, and I'll give you my secret right here. You can battle me with it. I'm not really rhyming. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. The secret to MCing is how you grunt and groan. I can say, huh, you know what I said. When I say dee 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 da dee 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 da dee dee. This has no, this is not words. These are the manipulations of the God force that is around us. It's not about your words. It's about your grunting, your groaning, your character, your light. An MC that has real light shines forever. Doesn't matter. Record deal, no record deal, don't matter. Wherever you go, you shine. And this is the essence here. All of you are not MCs. But apply the MC lesson. This is only one element of our culture. But apply this element to your life. When you speak of yourself, MC it, rap it. Talk like you were the greatest thing that ever walked on this earth. Talk like nobody can stop me. My name is DJ. Whatever. And walk in that authority. When you walk in that authority, you will attract the reality of what you say. But here's the final point. Do you have the courage to be you? This is the final big leap right here. Do you have the courage to be you? That's why hip hop gets into so much trouble. Because we are not afraid to be us. If being me means I'm a thug, accept it. This is me. I mention all of this because there are two types of people in the world. The free and the free. I'm not here to critique the free. I feel for the free. Most of my brothers are free. Most of my sisters are free. They're waiting for the government to give them something. They're waiting for the record company to fix the contracts. They're waiting for Viacom to stop buying up everything. They're waiting for Clear Channel to stop playing the same junk on the radio every day. They're waiting. When we are a nation right now, our only problem, lack knowledge of self. What we need is awareness of ourselves. All we need is the one person. All we need is one person. One person. Even in this conversation today, there's only one or two people. No, wait a minute, let me look at the crowd. There's maybe 5 people in this room that are really serious. I'm not dissing nobody, this is real. Some, maybe the same people, but some, only about 5 or 6, really are serious. And what's serious about what? Serious about peace, love, unity, having fun in their life. No one from my time made it. No one. When I was coming up, there was 100 MCs, 200 DJs, 300 B-boys. What happened? It had nothing to do with the skill. It had to do with the light. I was standing in my purpose. I have so much to tell you. I gotta go. I was standing in my purpose. Big Daddy Kane stands in his purpose. Dougie Fresh stands in his purpose. Run DMC stood in their purpose. This is where the magic starts. This is where you perform miracles. Stand in your purpose. When you know what your purpose is, magical things start happening. When you stand in your purpose, doors that were closed to other people open up for you. I'm telling you this because I am a living proof of it. I'm a living example of it. Why do I have honorary degrees? Why does Harvard want me to teach it? Why? Why? It has nothing to do with it. Well, Krs, you put out some really good records. It goes a little deeper than that. And this is what you guys, this is when you become the most important. Stand on your purpose. This is hip hop. Hip hop is not rap. It's not performing. It's living. It's living victoriously and free. It's knowing that I don't have to get a job if I don't want it. It's knowing I don't have to get married if I don't want it. Self-actualized. The university, I am glad that the university agrees that Krs One should have been here. But we were coming anyway.